Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and my 8-year-old had a game last night. They were getting killed about 9-1. They came back, and in the end they lost about 10-8 because the time ran out. That's pretty depressing, but at least they came back. Okay, John Deaton had tweeted this out yesterday. I believe that's yesterday. I'm looking at the date. Yeah, 22nd. The SEC just filed its response to Ripple's request for a pre-motion conference on Ripple's discovery request for information related to Bitcoin and Ethereum. My earlier tweets related to Hinman and Clayton prove it's relevant. What are you hiding at SEC? And so their reply is basically saying that the discovery on the communications about how they came to the conclusion that Bitcoin and Ethereum were not securities is not relevant to Ripple now, okay? And the fact that they're going after Ripple. And then XRP Crypto Wolf had summarized this too. SEC claims Bitcoin and Ethereum documents are not relevant to Ripple and XRP case. The SEC has asked the judge not to order the production of Bitcoin Ethereum documents demanded by Ripple. What is the SEC hiding? And I think this is the core of it. What is the SEC hiding? Now, let's, and then Jeremy Hogan also weighed in on this. Well, now we know exactly what documents the SEC is nervous about. Ripple seeing. SEC, the requested Bitcoin and Ether documents are not relevant. Translation, the Bitcoin and Ether docs are not only relevant, but probably damning. Guaranteed. So they are on this now. Okay, now, just to illustrate the absurdity of this, I decided I would go back and get my tweet where Vitalik Buterin, not only did Vitalik Buterin, when he put out Ethereum, not only was it literally a security, but he got at the podium and called it a fundraiser. It was literally an ICO, 10 times worse than anything Ripple's ever done. And they gave him a free pass, and we need to know why they gave him a free pass. Watch this. This is absurd what the SEC is doing.
Okay, so I'll talk a bit about the funding model. So we will have
funding model. He calls it a funding model. This is literally their funding model, and the SEC gave this a free pass. Man, this, I've told you from day one, this reeks to high heaven, and they better get that discovery.
Talk a bit about the funding model. So we will have a fundraiser for 2 months.
Fundraiser.
Starting February 1st. It will be available at funds.ethereum.org. So the idea is that part of the initial issuance will be 1,000 Ether for 1 Bitcoin, or up to 2,000 Ether for 1 Bitcoin if you get in early to compensate for the increased risk. Or
you can get a better deal if you get in early on this investment. I mean, it's unbelievable how blatant this was.
So the issuance model is that we will fundraise. Suppose that we.
There he says it again. We will fundraise.
Hands out X Ether through the fundraiser. Then.
Fundraiser says it again.
And there will be about 0.5x will be pre-mined, and then 0.4x after that will be mined per year forever.
And later in this clip, that it's not in this part of it, but he literally says that it's a hybrid of the Ripple model, is what he said. I mean, it's something to that effect. Unbelievable. And they completely ignored this and gave this guy a free pass. Boy, I would love to know where the bodies are buried on this, because this stinks and everybody knows it. And I think at some point, if they don't pull this lawsuit, you're going to find out. Global ID, Greg Kidd yesterday did a video with one of his guys over at Global ID, and Greg Kidd weighed in on the Ripple versus SEC. Listen to what he says here.
Well, I saw in the lawsuit that the defense of the SEC against the XRP holders that are litigating over the damage that they're doing is the SEC's defense is that, like, hey, it's not clear that Ripple's a security, so, like, why are you suing us? And yet at the same time they're suing Ripple saying you should have known 7 years ago that it's a security. And so, okay, only one of those statements can be true in a world of physics that I understand. But, or maybe one of those arguments you can make on Tuesdays as long as you can make the other argument on Thursdays. And so it will be interesting to see how it comes out. But look, I'm not here to rag on the SEC. I want the SEC to be a strong SEC, but I want it to do rulemaking, not like a lottery of enforcement on, an action that you file on the last day of your administration, then you and the whole crew behind it bugger off and you hand it off to like some other crew. That's just, that's like a lottery approach to like regulation. And look, that's not going to help with what the mission is. If you believe the mission is to protect investors, raise capital, promote efficiency, liquidity, transparency in the market, none of those things are happening from the way that the SEC behaved in 2020. But look, 2021 is a new year. They might simply say, hey, look, oops. What we really need is transparency. We need these rules. Like, all they need to do is do their job, rulemaking. We're not here to question their authority. We want them to have authority. We want good rules. We want regulation. And this process may result in that. That's what I'm hoping for.
Okay, I think that's a pretty reasoned commentary on that. All right, Chris P. sent me this. The Kremlin admits possibly disconnecting the country from SWIFT and admits that it is necessary to be on the alert. The Russian Federation cannot rule out any of the Western threats, including disconnection from SWIFT. And then it goes on, U.S. Treasury Lavrov began his visit to China with a call to reduce his dependence on the dollar. The Russian foreign minister also called on Moscow and Beijing to abandon the use of the international payment systems controlled by the West. I mean, folks, come on, this is getting, it feels like we're coming to a climax in this thing. XRP vet, Diamonds to the Sky, sent me this. Now remember, we mentioned that Kahina Van Dyke, who used to work for Ripple, and then went to Standard Chartered. She's one of the speakers at the Bank of International Settlements at the conference they're having. Look at the tweet. Look at the words they use. The financial system is moving away from closed gardens to working with many service providers in a safe ecosystem. Kahina Van Dyke, Henry Ma, Noah Pepper, at the BIS Innovation Summit. Now, something I forgot to mention, by the way, yesterday, this Noah Pepper guy that's speaking, I mentioned to you yesterday that Mark Carney is on the board at Stripe. Well, Noah Pepper actually works for Stripe. He's one of the executives at Stripe, and he's a speaker, and then Mark Carney's a speaker who's on the board of Stripe, and Stripe was the first investor in Stellar, just so you know. But look at the word that they use in this, closed gardens. Where do you think they got that word? This is Joel Katz. This is David Schwartz. Quote, if someone says they want a walled garden and you can't convince them otherwise, you build them a walled garden with a big red button, pressed to lower walls. Then you wait. Maybe, and then I said maybe Kahina Van Dyke was actually just a walled garden away as well. And that's a reference to when she left. And XRP Crypto says it here. Kahina Van Dyke worked at Ripple, and when she was hired at Standard Chartered Bank, Brad Garlinghouse said that Kahina was only a node away on the network. And so what I'm saying here is maybe she's also a walled garden away on the network. Okay, Michelle XRP Vet sent me this, and I wanted to show you this clip. This is at that BIS summit yesterday, and this is Jerome Powell, the Fed chairman. Listen up.
Underlying standards of the future of money will control the future of money. Who can
say that our work on CBDCs is not primarily motivated by the appearance on the scene of cryptocurrencies and stablecoins. It really is fundamentally, technology has made it possible for us to offer a new form of trusted money and that sovereign anchor that has been so important for economic development for a very long time. And we're looking carefully at whether to do that. So turning to your question, crypto assets, which we call them crypto assets, they're highly volatile, see Bitcoin, and therefore not really useful as a store of value, and they're not backed by anything. They're more of an asset for speculation.
Listen to what he's telling you, Bitcoiners.
So they're also not particularly in use as a means of payment. It's more a speculative asset that's essentially a substitute for gold rather than for the dollar. And I think with crypto assets, the public needs to understand the risks. The principal thing is there's the volatility. There's also the outsized energy requirement for mining, and the fact that they're not backed by anything, which I mentioned. Certainly an improvement over crypto assets, I would say. But nonetheless, where does the credibility come from? It comes from that sovereign currency that is the backstop. The thing is, existing sovereign currencies are issued with the benefit of the public in mind. The potentially fast and wide adoption of a global stablecoin, potentially a global currency governed only by the incentives of a private company, is something that will deserve and will receive the highest level of regulatory expectations. And is regulation where it needs to be on global stablecoins yet? It's not, but we're making progress. Nonetheless, stablecoins may have a role to play with appropriate regulation, but that role will not be to form the basis of a new global monetary system. Private stablecoins are not going to be an appropriate substitute for a sound monetary system based in central bank money.
Okay, so there you have it. One thing I wanted to mention that I forgot to mention is the LINK2 platform. They added more Ripple shares, and I might be buying some of these Ripple shares myself. I was going to go in here and look at it. This is, by the way, I have links to where you can download the apps for your iPhone or for a Android phone for the LINK2 app. You can download that, or you can go to link2.com, LINQTO.com. I've got all those links in the description of my video. These guys are a sponsor, but I also buy this private equity. Folks, I'm telling you, I can smell it. I can feel it. Coinbase is going public in the next month. I was there during the .com boom. The difference this time is that these companies that are going to go public this time are all actually making tons of money. There's a big difference. Last time, I think they learned a lesson that just by virtue of having .com on the end, that doesn't mean you can't actually have a business model that works. So those lessons were learned, and now you're about to see some legit companies going public. And this is the way that guys like me and some of you out there, if you're accredited, can get in and buy this as private equity before they go public. That's what I'm doing. So I'm looking at this and I'm buying these things myself. I'm not just talking about it. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that they do have Ripple shares available if you're for accredited investors.